All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to work out the basic descriptive statistics given a set of data. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that you're going to be given a data set and then you can actually input all the different values in your list, in your GDC, and then ask the calculator to work out almost everything for you. So you can actually work out the mean, the standard deviation, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the standard deviation as well. So you can actually do everything you need it to do when it comes to descriptive statistics. And it's a skill you need to have for the exams, and it's something you can actually use in your math exploration if you're collecting data or if you're analyzing secondary data and you actually need to input numbers and then work out all these measures of central tendency. All right, so let me quickly show you how to get that done. So you turn on your calculator, and then, as it is the case with any statistical calculation, you need to go on the stats mode. So you press on menu, you choose stats, execute, and that usually opens the window where you need to input the numbers. So I'm going to choose the numbers which I basically used in the previous video where I showed you how to work out the mean, median, and mode given the list of data. But today we're actually going to work out everything using the calculator. So the numbers were 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 7, and then 9 and 10. Okay, and you'll notice that we had number 7 3 times, and this is supposed to be the mean. So I just quickly check my numbers again. 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 7 3 times, 9 and 10. Okay, so I do have all my numbers. What I'm now going to ask the calculator to do is I'm going to ask it to calculate. So calculate is F2. You press on F2 and you're calculating one variable statistics because all these values are actually values of X. So you have one variable. So one variable, you press on it and then it actually gives you everything. So starting with the first one, the mean, so X bar is 6.75. The sum of X was 54. So if you add all the values of X, you get 54. So the sum of X squared is 396. So if you square each value of X and you add, you get that. And you'll notice that these two parameters can actually be used when you work out the standard deviation using the formula. And sigma X is 1.984. So it already worked out the standard deviation for you. Now, there's a difference between population standard deviation and sample standard deviation. That's why you see sigma X and SX, but that's going to be explored. And when we do hypothesis testing, that's a bit later. N is 8, meaning you have 8 numbers in your data set. The mean is 4. The Q1 is 5 and the median is 7. And the Q3 is 8 and the max is 10. All these values are actually very good values to draw the box and plot diagram. So the box and whisker diagram or the box plot, because where the box plot starts, that's the minimum, and then you create that line, the first quartile, so where the box starts, that's at Q1, median, upper quartile. Median is in the middle of the box, upper quartile is where the box ends, and then max is 10, so from the upper quartile till the max number, that's the upper tail. And you can see that the mode is 7. And we noticed that when we were inputting the values, 7 occurred 3 times. And that's what it's telling you here, mod frequency 3. So it's telling you that the mode actually had a frequency of 3. So it gives you all that information simply by inputting all the data on your calculator in the list. Okay, so that's one possible question you can get. Another question you can get is when they give you a table, a frequency table, whereby you have the data and the frequency. So what do you do in this case? That's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to refer to the second question, which we did in the previous video, where we worked out the midpoint and then manually we worked out the different things. So the midpoints we had, these are going to be the X values. So 5, 15, and 25. All right, and the frequencies I'm going to write on the list too. So 5, 8, and 7. Okay. Now, if you are inputting values and list 1 represents X and list 2 represents the frequency values, you need to tell that to the calculator, otherwise the calculator won't know. So you just need to do an additional step here. You need to go on the set, so you press on F6, and you need to tell the calculator that. So here you will see that list 1 was the X value and the frequency for the list 1 was 1, meaning you had each number which occurred once, but that's not the case now. The second column is actually the frequency table. So I'm going to move onto the second row here, and I'm going to change it to list 2. So I press on F2 and then it gives me list 1 to 26. I'm going to put 2 here and then execute. So now I'm saying that my first list consists of the X values, and the second list actually represents values which are the respective frequencies of the different values in X. So that's why the frequencies now is list 2. If we don't do that change, then it means that each value from list 1 still had a frequency of 1, which is false, because this only applies if you have one list of data. But now we have a frequency table, so we need to adjust that. So once I've done that change, I exit. And then once again, you go on the one variable. And then it does all the things for you. So the mean is 16. You'll remember from the previous video that we had to do sum of fx over sum of f to actually get the mean, but now the calculator is doing it for you. And it even worked out the sigma for you. So the deviation is 7.68. All right, and it does all the amazing things again. It gives you the minimum, the quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum value, meaning you can actually use these values to draw a nice box plot in case you had to do it for exams. Or once again, thinking big, if you actually are working with raw data and you're analyzing different sets and the aim is to actually compare the two different sets. For example, if you're measuring the height of boys and girls in the school, and then your two different box plots are actually about the height, and you want to have a visual representation of these two things, then you can input all these values in your calculator, generate the descriptive stats, use the descriptive stats to actually start writing your narrative, and then you can actually draw the two different box plots from those information. Okay, so I hope that you found that useful.